You won't believe the insane predictions The Simpsons made for 2025. In the classic episode Bart to the Future, the show not only foresaw Donald Trump becoming president, but also dropped a shocking hint about him getting shot. Talk about a jaw-dropper. But that's not all. Lisa Simpson takes the presidency after Trump, leading many fans to speculate about Kamala Harris running for office in 2024. With these uncanny predictions, it's hard not to wonder what other surprises are in store. Buckle up as we explore the wild world of The Simpsons and their chilling foresight. Roy Horn's Tiger Attack. In the 1993 episode, Pringfield, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Legalized Gambling, The Simpsons introduced a hilarious parody of the legendary Las Vegas duo Siegfried and Roy. In a comical twist, the episode features their act with a white tiger named Anastasia, who suddenly turns on her handlers during a performance. The scene is packed with over-the-top humor, showcasing the risks of working with wild animals in a lighthearted way. However, just a decade later, this fictional scenario took a tragic turn in real life. In 2003, Roy Horn was mauled by a tiger named Montecore during a live performance at the Mirage in Las Vegas. The incident left Horn with severe injuries and effectively ended the duo's celebrated career. Fans of The Simpsons couldn't help but draw eerie parallels between the show's playful portrayal and the very real danger of their world-famous act. While the episode aimed for laughs, it inadvertently highlighted the unpredictable nature of wild animals, no matter how well trained. This moment serves as a reminder that the line between comedy and reality can sometimes feel alarmingly thin. The uncanny coincidence between the cartoon and real-life events has turned this episode into a memorable example of how The Simpsons can blend humor with poignant commentary, leaving viewers both entertained and reflective. Lady Gaga's halftime show. In the 2012 episode Lisa Goes Gaga, Lady Gaga makes a memorable guest appearance in Springfield, bringing her signature flair and theatricality. Dressed in a stunning silver outfit, she performs for the town while soaring above the crowd on wires, captivating everyone with her over-the-top performance. This moment is quintessentially Gaga, filled with glitz, glamour, and a touch of absurdity. However, it's what happened 5 years later that had fans buzzing with excitement and disbelief. During the 2017 Super Bowl halftime show, Lady Gaga opened her performance by descending from the roof of the stadium in a similarly dazzling silver ensemble, flying over the audience. The parallels between her animated performance in The Simpsons and the live show were striking, leaving viewers amazed at how closely the cartoon had predicted the real-life spectacle. Fans quickly pointed out the similarities, with many joking about The Simpsons' knack for predicting the future. This moment not only showcased Gaga's unique performance style, but also highlighted how The Simpsons has a remarkable ability to capture the essence of pop culture. The episode is a delightful reminder of how humor and creativity can intersect, creating iconic moments that resonate with audiences for years to come. Airplane restaurants. In the 1998 episode, Bart, Carney, Homer, and Marge dine at a quirky restaurant called Up Up and Buffet, which is humorously set inside a grounded airplane. The scene captures the show's signature absurdity, as guests enjoy their meals while surrounded by airplane seats and a simulated flight experience. At the time, it seemed like a funny and far-fetched concept, but it foreshadowed an unexpected trend that would take off in the years to come. Today, airplane-themed restaurants have become a unique dining experience across the globe. Old, retired aircraft are transformed into restaurants, offering guests a chance to enjoy a meal inside a plane. Some of these venues recreate the in-flight experience, complete with flight attendants serving food on trays, while others focus on fine dining in an adventurous setting. For example, the DC-3 plane turned McDonald's in New Zealand, and the Airbus restaurant in Thailand have become popular spots for locals and tourists alike. The Simpsons' playful take on airplane dining has turned into a reality that few could have predicted. It's a prime example of how a comical idea can inspire real-world creativity. This episode remains a favorite among fans, showcasing The Simpsons' ability to blend humor with imaginative concepts that resonate long after the credits roll. Disney buys Fox. In the 1998 episode When You Dish Upon a Star, The Simpsons made what seemed like a harmless joke, showing a sign that read 20th Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney Company. At the time, it was simply a clever jab at Disney's growing influence in the entertainment industry. But nearly 2 decades later, this joke turned into reality when Disney officially acquired 21st Century Fox for a staggering $52 billion in 2019. This merger brought major franchises under Disney's control, including The Simpsons, X-Men, and Avatar, as well as Star Wars and Marvel, which were already part of Disney. Fans couldn't believe it. Bart Simpson, Mickey Mouse, and Marvel superheroes were now part of the same universe. The deal transformed Disney into an even bigger entertainment powerhouse and changed the media landscape forever. What makes this prediction so fascinating is how unlikely it seemed in 1998. 1998. No one could have imagined Disney acquiring a major competitor like Fox. The Simpsons writers, known for their sharp cultural commentary, turned this far-fetched idea into a throwaway gag. But when reality caught up with the show, fans were left amazed at how accurate the prediction was. It's yet another example of how The Simpsons continues to blur the line between satire and prophecy, proving its reputation as one of television's most eerily insightful shows. Smartwatches predicted. In the 1995 episode Lisa's Wedding, The Simpsons took a leap into the future, imagining Lisa as a grown-up navigating life in 2010. Among the futuristic gadgets featured in the episode, one detail stood out. Lisa's fiancé, Hugh, uses a wristwatch that doubles as a phone. At the time, this idea felt like something out of a sci-fi movie, completely unrealistic for the mid-1990s. Fast forward to today, and smartwatches have become an essential part of modern life. The first smartwatch with phone capabilities was introduced in 1999, but it wasn't until companies like Apple and Samsung entered the market that these devices became mainstream. Now, smartwatches can do everything from making calls and sending texts to tracking fitness and even monitoring health conditions. The Simpsons' prediction of this technology years before it became a reality is nothing short of remarkable. What seemed like a futuristic gag in 1995 turned out to be a surprisingly accurate glimpse of what was to come. It's a testament to the show's ability to blend humor with forward-thinking ideas that often foreshadow real-world advancements. This episode remains a fan favorite, not just for its heartwarming storyline, but for its proof that The Simpsons has an uncanny ability to predict the future. Who would have thought a simple wristwatch joke would one day become a reality? Ringo Starr answers old fan mail. In the 1991 episode Brush with Greatness, Marge Simpson dives back into her passion for painting and creates a portrait of Beatles drummer Ringo Starr. Years earlier, she had sent him a fan letter along with one of her paintings but never received a reply. To her surprise, Ringo is shown in the episode diligently answering fan mail from decades ago, finally praising her work and even hanging her painting on his wall. What makes this episode so remarkable is how it mirrored real life years later. In 2013, Paul McCartney responded to a fan's tape that had been sent to the Beatles in 1963, a full 50 years earlier. The BBC helped track down the tape, and McCartney wrote a heartfelt response to the two women who had sent it. Fans were stunned by the similarities between the real-life event and the episode, calling it another example of The Simpsons' eerie ability to predict the future. This storyline showcases the timeless power of fan-artist connections. While the episode played the moment for laughs, the parallels to McCartney's real-life response make it even more touching. The idea of a celebrity taking the time to acknowledge old fan mail resonates with audiences, proving that small acts of kindness can have a lasting impact. It's yet another example of how The Simpsons blends humor and heart with surprising accuracy. Legalized marijuana in Canada. In the 2005 episode Midnight RX, Homer and his friends travel to Canada to buy cheaper prescription drugs after Mr. Burns cancels the power plant's drug plan. During their trip, Ned Flanders meets his Canadian counterpart, who shocks him by casually offering marijuana, calling it legal in Canada. Flanders, horrified, storms off, calling him a satanic temptress. At the time, it was nothing more than a funny joke about Canada's progressive attitudes. Fast forward to 2018, and Canada became the second country in the world to fully legalize recreational marijuana use, making The Simpsons' prediction remarkably accurate. The Cannabis Act legalized the production, sale, and possession of marijuana nationwide, marking a major cultural and political shift. This move inspired other countries and U.S. states to follow suit, solidifying Canada's role as a pioneer in cannabis legislation. What makes this prediction so fascinating is how it reflects The Simpsons' ability to tap into social trends years ahead of time. While the episode was meant to poke fun at cultural differences, it ended up hinting at a historic moment in Canadian law. The show's humor and satire often hit surprisingly close to reality, and this episode is a perfect example of how a seemingly random joke can turn into a real-world event years later. It's another win for The Simpsons as television's most unexpectedly prophetic series, The Shard in London. In the 1995 episode Lisa's Wedding, The Simpsons transported viewers into a futuristic vision of London. Among the imaginative details was a tall, pointy structure in the skyline, a blink and you'll miss it moment. At the time, it was simply an artistic addition to the fictional future world. However, years later, fans noticed a striking resemblance between this animated building and the Shard, a real skyscraper that began construction in 2009 and was completed in 2012. The Shard, designed by renowned architect Renzo Piano, is now one of London's most iconic landmarks. landmarks. Standing at 310 meters, it's the tallest building in the UK and a symbol of modern architecture. Its sharp, glassy design mirrors the futuristic building seen in Lisa's Wedding. While the similarity could be dismissed as a coincidence, it's hard not to marvel at how accurately the Simpsons imagined the future skyline of London. What makes this prediction so fascinating is its subtlety. The shard wasn't a plot point, or even highlighted in the episode. It was simply part of the background. Yet, the design closely mirrored what would become a real-life architectural masterpiece years later. This moment showcases the Simpsons' ability to weave clever details into its episodes, leaving fans amazed when reality aligns with fiction. It's one of many examples of how the show's creativity often seems ahead of its time. Voting machine glitches. In the 2008 Halloween special Treehouse of Horror 19, The Simpsons took a comedic jab at voting technology. In the episode, Homer tries to cast his vote for Barack Obama in the presidential election, but the electronic voting machine repeatedly changes his vote to John McCain. Frustrated, Homer keeps trying until the machine hilariously malfunctions and sucks him inside. While exaggerated for laughs, the scene turned out to be eerily close to reality. 4 years later, during the 2012 U.S. presidential election, reports surfaced of faulty voting machines in Pennsylvania. A viral video showed one machine switching a voter's choice for Obama to Mitt Romney, sparking concerns about the reliability of electronic voting systems. The similarity between the real-life incident and Homer's voting ordeal left fans stunned, with many calling it another example of The Simpsons' uncanny ability to predict the future. This episode wasn't just a humorous exaggeration, it also highlighted legitimate concerns about election technology. While Homer's situation was absurd, it reflected real fears about how technical glitches could undermine democracy. The Simpsons writers often use satire to explore societal issues, and this moment became a perfect example of fiction blending with reality. The voting machine glitch prediction remains one of the show's most memorable moments, showcasing its ability to make people laugh while also sparking meaningful conversations. Game of Thrones' fiery finale. In the 2017 episode The Simpsons, The Simpsons parodied the fantasy genre with a medieval-themed story. One of the most striking moments occurs when Homer revives a dragon, only for the creature to unleash fiery destruction on a nearby village. The dragon soars above the town, raining fire and chaos, leaving Springfield in ruins. At the time, this scene felt like a fun homage to popular fantasy tropes, but 2 years later, it would draw comparisons to one of television's most shocking moments. In the 2019 finale of Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen and her dragon, Drogon, burned King's Landing to the ground in a fiery rampage that stunned fans. The parallels between the two scenes were uncanny. A dragon wreaking havoc from the skies, flames consuming a town, and the aftermath of destruction. Fans of both shows couldn't help but notice how closely The Simpsons had mirrored the events of Game of Thrones, joking that the show had predicted the infamous finale. What makes this prediction so fascinating is its timing. While The Simpsons was intended as a light-hearted parody, its imagery ended up matching one of the most talked-about moments in television history. The Simpsons' ability to capture cultural trends, even unintentionally, continues to amaze fans, proving once again that the show has an uncanny knack for reflecting the future. World War III tensions. In the 2000 episode Bart to the Future, The Simpsons painted a grim picture of the future that feels uncomfortably relevant today. The episode imagines a world on the brink of chaos, with hints of global conflict and instability. While the primary focus is on Lisa becoming the first female president, the backdrop of tensions and uncertainty resonates with modern fears about large-scale war. At the time, the idea of World War III seemed like a distant possibility, but in today's world, rising geopolitical tensions make it feel all too real. Ongoing conflicts like the war between Russia and Ukraine, unrest in the Middle East, and the growing rivalry between global powers such as the United States, China, and Russia have fueled fears of a global catastrophe. The episode's portrayal of worldwide chaos eerily mirrors the uncertainty we see in headlines today. What stands out about this prediction is how it captures the fragility of international relations. While The Simpsons' take was exaggerated and comedic, it reflects a deeper truth about the challenges of leadership during times of crisis. Lisa's struggles as president to navigate a divided world serve as a reminder of the importance of diplomacy and cooperation. Once again, The Simpsons has proven its ability to mix humor with sobering commentary, predicting a future that feels closer to reality with each passing year. Trump getting shot. The 2000 episode Bart to the Future is famous for predicting Donald Trump's presidency, but it also includes a subtle reference that has sparked speculation among fans. In one scene, Lisa, as President of the United States, mentions inheriting a major financial crisis from President Trump. While this line became iconic after Trump's real-life election in 2016, another detail caught viewers' attention, a subtle reference to Trump being shot. Though the show doesn't explicitly depict the event, fans believe the writers hinted at his assassination through indirect dialogue dialogue and imagery. With Trump being such a controversial figure in modern politics, discussions around his safety have often made headlines. This eerie suggestion in a lighthearted cartoon has left fans both intrigued and unsettled. What makes this moment so striking is how layered the episode is. It wasn't just the Trump presidency that The Simpsons foreshadowed, but also the chaos and division that came with it. The show's ability to blend humor, satire, and subtle warnings has cemented its reputation as more than just a source of laughs. It's often a mirror to society's potential future. While no one hopes for such a grim prediction to come true, the attention to detail in Bart to the Future demonstrates how The Simpsons writers have a knack for weaving complex, sometimes unsettling ideas into their storytelling. Kamala running. In the same episode that predicted Trump's presidency, Bart to the Future, The Simpsons imagines Lisa becoming the first female president of the United States. Lisa takes office after Trump and immediately faces the challenges of repairing the country's financial and political mess. Fans couldn't help but draw comparisons between Lisa and Kamala Harris, the first female vice president, who many believe could run for president in the near future. Lisa's leadership style, her focus on rebuilding the economy, and her calm demeanor all seem to align with Harris's public image. What's even more interesting is Lisa's outfit during the episode, a purple jacket and pearls, which closely resembles Kamala Harris's signature style during her inauguration in 2021. These visual and thematic parallels have fueled speculation that The Simpsons may have once again predicted a major political event. While Lisa's presidency was initially meant to be a joke, it has taken on new meaning in today's political climate. Harris's historic role as vice president has paved the way for conversations about the possibility of her running for the highest office. Once more, The Simpsons has managed to blend satire with uncanny foresight. Whether Kamala Harris eventually becomes president or not, the episode serves as a fascinating commentary on the progress of women in leadership and the challenges of stepping into power during turbulent times. The mass of the Higgs boson. In the 1998 episode The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, Homer Simpson decides to become an inventor, inspired by Thomas Edison. During one scene, Homer scribbles a seemingly random equation on a chalkboard. At first glance, it appears to be just another gag, highlighting Homer's unlikely genius. However, years later, scientists discovered that the equation closely predicts the mass of the Higgs boson particle, also known as the God particle. The Higgs boson, discovered in 2012 at CERN, is a fundamental particle that explains why matter has mass. Its discovery was a monumental breakthrough in physics, helping scientists understand the origins of the universe. The fact that Homer's equation was so close to the actual value stunned fans and physicists alike. Some speculate that the writers consulted real physicists while crafting the episode, while others chalk it up to an incredible coincidence. This prediction showcases The Simpsons' unique ability to blend humor with surprisingly accurate scientific details. What makes it even more remarkable is how casually the equation appears in the episode. It's not emphasized or explained, making the connection to real-world science even more fascinating. Whether it was intentional or a lucky guess, Homer's chalkboard moment remains one of the show's most jaw-dropping predictions. It's a perfect example of how The Simpsons can mix comedy with intellectual depth, leaving fans amazed at its unexpected insights. Zombie apocalypse. In the 2009 Treehouse of Horror 20 episode, The Simpsons imagines a zombie apocalypse caused by a food disaster. The outbreak begins with a contaminated meat product called Burger Squared, made from cannibalistic cows, which transforms Kent Brockman into a ravenous zombie after just one bite. The infection spreads quickly, plunging Springfield into chaos as the townspeople turn into brain-hungry creatures. While the storyline is exaggerated for comedic effect, the underlying theme of a food-related crisis feels eerily relevant. In real life, foodborne illnesses like E. coli, salmonella, and mad cow disease have raised global concerns about food safety. The episode highlights how fragile the food supply chain can be, and how small lapses in safety regulations could potentially lead to widespread panic. The zombie apocalypse also feels like a metaphor for larger societal fears, such as pandemics. The COVID-19 outbreak in 2020 brought similar themes to the forefront, how one small incident can spiral into a global crisis, leaving communities scrambling to survive. Though The Simpsons played the scenario for laughs, it mirrors real-world anxieties about public health and the consequences of cutting corners in food production. This episode resonates with fans for its mix of absurdity and surprising realism. It's another example of how The Simpsons uses humor to explore serious issues, proving that even the most outlandish scenarios can have a kernel of truth.